Good morning, everybody. I feel like it's already afternoon. I've been up since 5, but I was setting this up and I was thinking, where can I go in my house that will serve as a metaphor, beyond the obvious about sitting in discomfort and really embracing it. And I thought, where better than where I experienced and have been experiencing so much joy and so much discomfort, which is what was my dining room, which I turned into a musical studio when COVID set in, and I knew I wasn't going to be having a lot of dinner parties. And the reason I think that it's always nice to start with forms of discomfort that are really immediate is it allows us to also see really firsthand that the more we move towards our discomfort, the more we're able to move towards growth and breakthrough. So for me, one of those forms is public speaking, right? And the more I do it, the more I see that by allowing myself to have a voice, I'm able to grow. Music is a big part of that for me as well. I didn't grow up playing anything. I always felt kind of other. I loved it, but it always felt other. And so for me to pick up a guitar and actually start to play even chords and not just planking on a string and then slowly starting to play more and more. Every time I go to pick up a guitar, I feel both joy and discomfort, right? And these are really, I'm sure you have things in your life that the minute you think of doing them, you feel a little bit of a wall of, oh, and you feel a promise of joy. For some of us, it could be going to the gym. I know for a lot of people, me, 90% of the time when I'm going to the gym, if I'm really paying attention, a lot of times I do feel a resistance, as well as I feel a promise of breakthrough, of joy, right? So these are really safe ways to remind your nervous system that the things that make us uncomfortable are oftentimes the places where our opportunities for joy and delight and discovery lie. And maybe the things I brought up aren't your things, and that's really not the point. The point is just to remind yourself, all of us have things that we have in our lives that we do feel a little bit of resistance, but we continue to go back to them to grow. Now, then there's all that other stuff, right? There's war, and there's global warming, and there's conflict with each other. There's conflict at work. There's all kinds of things that trigger us to not be in our comfort zone, right? To really feel like, gosh, I don't know how to feel safe. I don't know how to feel at ease through this. And a lot of that is a function of our nervous system, right? We all know that. It's our nervous system going, amok. I don't know how to deal with this, right? But when you really ask your nervous system, what is it freaking out over? A lot of times it's freaking out over safety. And that could be social safety, it could be interactional safety, it could be literal safety. So a lot of times when we feel that prompt, right, I'm really not comfortable with this, rather than letting the dialogue with yourself stop there and say, nope, I'm not comfortable, and either try to get away from whatever the situation is, or try to water it down, or try to make yourself smaller so that you're not feeling exposed. Instead of any of those things, the minute you feel yourself say, oh, I'm not comfortable, I want you to really ask yourself, what is comfort? Because whatever is happening around us, whether it's conflict with another person, whether it's reading the news, whether it's dealing with a situation at work, whether it's a situation with a loved one, learning something, going into an unfamiliar environment, any of those things. When we hear the word discomfort, we already go, right? So rather than training ourselves on lack, why don't we ask ourselves, how do I give myself comfort right now? So I'm going to show you a practice I do. Okay. It's kind of funny. I've been teaching these practices, I think a lot of you guys know, for over 20 years, both in retreat settings as well as in some of the most demanding corporate environments you can imagine. And I'm not exaggerating. I've taught them to the NYPD. I've taught them to the NYFD. I've taught them at Morgan Stanley. I've taught them at Chanel. I've taught them at little teeny tiny companies. And one thing that I've found recently is that there's such a longing for these practices, and there's so much resistance to anything that is not already a part of the culture, right? We had a conference call yesterday, and one of our clients said, can you do something less crunchy? And it was interesting to me because medical doctors teach this stuff. Sports performance coaches teach this stuff. Psychologists teach this stuff. Like this, we call it crunchy almost as a reaction or a resistance because we're afraid it's going to change who we are, right? We're afraid it's going to somehow impinge upon the identity that we built, and we won't be able to take ourselves as seriously, or others won't be able to take us as seriously. And the reality is that attending to your inner state is about the most auspicious, masterful, and leadership centric thing that you can do. Because once you do that, then you're able to actually be clear enough and attend to other people. Okay, so we're just going to try this. So draw your shoulders back. And I'm sitting upright. Now, a lot of times you'll see me sit back into a chair and let myself be supported. Because it's morning, right? And this is a choice I'm making right now because it's morning, and I know I'm going to move right from this into conversations, right from this into conference calls, etc. I want to give my grounding practice an element of alertness, right? And I also want to model to anyone who's watching this that you can do this standing up, right? I'm sitting down because that's where my camera is, and otherwise I wouldn't be able to see you. I have to futz with the tripod and all that stuff. But just draw your shoulders back and draw your chin in. And you could be standing. You could be waiting for the elevator to take you to whatever situation is prompting the concept of discomfort. And what I want you to do is just soften your eyes. Now, this is a really simple practice. No one ever knows that you're doing it. You're literally shifting the energy in your eyes from reaching for light and reaching for what's out there, reaching to see, right, to letting the images come to you, right? Letting the colors, letting the textures, letting the shapes, just let it come to you. And then soften your breath, and you're literally going to relax your nostrils and relax your throat as you let images come to you. And then you're just going to begin to drop your awareness down. So you started at the eyes, you moved into your breath, your nose. And now you're just like honey settling back into a jar. You're just going to let your awareness go all the way down to your feet. And as you literally can almost envision your awareness as honey settling into a jar, you can feel a wave of okayness, of I'm fineness. Feel your feet on the ground, and you can imagine that weight of that weighty, sweet nectar just continuing to draw you down into the ground, to root you. And then notice the sweet rhythm of your breath. There's nothing to change in your breath. The only change I want to invite you to entertain, if it's not already happening, is to enjoy it. So just enjoy your breath. And then draw into mind whatever it is that you're not feeling comfortable about. Could be a situation with a colleague, could be a situation in life, something you're not certain about, where to live or where to work, where to send your kids to school. So draw that situation into mind and notice if it shifts your inner state of being. And then I want you to go back into the state of your body. And remember that honey just settling you into the ground. So you're completely grounded. The ease, the enjoyment of your breath. The softness of your eyes. I want you to hold both whatever the situation is that you chose, that you're finding discomfort in. Can you hold that in your awareness while you hold that sweet nectar-like groundedness, the enjoyment of your breath, and the softness? Vision comes to you. You don't have to work to see. It presents itself. So I want to invite you to use this practice. I just gave you a little taste of it because I want you to try it on for yourself when things are happening throughout the day-to-day and the week and the weeks to come. So it's a practice, which means the more you do it, the more ease. And the steps are really simple. You center yourself, you soften your eyes, you relax and enjoy your breath, and then you remember to scan downwards, allowing your awareness to move like honey, settling into a jar, grounding you. And then whatever that situation is that is causing you discomfort, you bring it into awareness. And you hold both. You hold both the reality of your groundedness, the reality of the pleasure of your breath, the reality that vision comes to you. And you hold this idea that causes you mental frisson, right? So you're holding an idea and then you're holding a reality, and you're holding them both at the same time. Because the more you sit in comfort with what you might automatically let yourself feel uncomfortable about, the more you're going to understand it. And the more you're going to be able to work with it skillfully. And in doing that, you get to grow. So I thank you for joining me for this baby, mini, teeny, tiny practice. I haven't done a live stream like this in a while. So I just want to thank you for taking a second to be with me. Also, if you haven't checked it out, I did do a distillation of 8 happiness habits that have come up over and over and over again in the work I've done with corporate people, non-corporate people of all types and stripes. These are the things that keep folks grounded, plugged in, and happy. And you can get that if you go into my website. It's balanceintegration.com/happiness. It's that easy. And I would love for you to have them. If you enjoyed this, please let me know. Please share it. Please comment. I'd love to hear how that practice worked for you. And I'm kicking off a mastermind September 21st. And there's a screening process because we want to get the right folks in. But if you want to talk to me about it and see if it's right for you, and if it's a fit, then pop me an email. Anyway, happy Thursday. Peaceful Thursday. Peaceful every time you can remember to bring yourself back into a state of groundedness. Okay, thanks. Have a great day.